I stress to the family all the time that the piece of product you're working on now may never leave a gun safe, but the next piece that you're working on could be in a mountain in Afghanistan or anywhere else in the world in harm's way. All of our products have a lifetime warranty on them, and what that means to us as a manufacturer is that you guys, the users, our customers, are who determines what the lifetime is on that piece of product. Hi, this is Tony at Tab Gear again. Let's talk about some suppressor covers. We're going to talk about 4 different models today. Our first cover that we came out with we call our SAS 1. It has a Velcro strip running down it, so it opens flat. It's got a black heat resistant material inside. All of our covers, by the way, have the exact same heat resistant material inside, the same Cordura outer covering, maybe a different color pattern, but it's all the 1000 denier Cordura. So our SAS 1 was our first suppressor cover. The way you install it is it must be installed with the back to the rear of the can. The back is always indicated where the label is. You'll be able to feel the cover, and there's a thick ridge that's built in to the back. The front does not have that. So to install your cover, you would take your can, the back of the can, you would put it inside that ridge, and as you roll the can, you pull the can nice and tight on the material and simply roll it over, and stretching the Cordura all the way around the can. You have to make sure that the 2 halves of the black meet all the way down the length of the can. If you are sloppy when you put it on and you leave a gap where heat can come from the can, it will come up and it will melt the Cordura. So put the back of the can against the ridge, roll the can, stretching the material as tight as possible, and install it. All of our suppressor covers, with the exception of the SAS2, we design so that a little bit of the muzzle of the can is exposed. We originally constructed them, the cover's exact same length as the can. What happened was, as the inner material would break in and kind of pack down, the muzzle of the cover would extend past the muzzle of the can, and muzzle blast was tearing them up. So we remove a little bit of the length of the cover back so it sticks out a little bit, so as it breaks in, it will slowly work up until it's almost flush with the cover. This is not enough can exposed to cause any mirage problems. So there's your SAS1. The back of the can, the back of the cover, label at the back. If you want to let your can cool during a hot string, it's easy to slide it back, let the can cool, slide it forward, and commence shooting again. There's your SAS1. Our SAS2 was developed for input from a military law enforcement perspective, in that they wanted a cover that did not have a front or a back. So you can just hand it off to a guy, he can install it on his can, and he would be good to go. So the 2 has a shock cord in the front and the back. So the proper way to install it is simply kind of stretch the cover over your can, slide it till the shock cord pops over the back edge of the can, and that is correctly installed. We have shock cord at the front as well. It hangs over the front, and the advantage to that is it allows the rifle to be slid forward in a stalking manner. We've had people attach mirage bands to them where it pulls back. The shock cord at the front prevents the cover from easily sliding to the back. So that is a good advantage for what it's designed for, the limitation in that is the SAS2 is not designed to be removed from a hot can. A can, typically its hottest part is going to be in the middle of the can. So if you shoot a hot string and you want to slide it back onto the barrel to let it cool, as soon as this Cordura bungee cord gets into the center part of the hot can, it will melt through immediately. It is not designed to be removed from a hot can, either forward or backward. We have these covers that have thousands of rounds on them with customers' rifles that do not remove them from a hot can, and so they do not have any issues with them. So just keep that in mind. It is not designed to be removed from a hot can. The next model is our SAS3. It appears similar to the SAS2, but it does not have bungee cord in it, so it can be slid to the back. The SAS3 on the front, it does not have a ridge in it. It does not have bungee in it. The rear of it has an internal built-in ridge. Again, the back of the can cover is at the label. This thick ridge prevents the cover from being installed after the can is installed on the rifle. So you would have to slide this over the barrel of your rifle, thread the can on, and then slide it up onto the can. Or a lot of times what guys will do, will just simply install the cover onto the can, like that. Then you just screw it on your can, attach it to the rifle. The advantage to the SAS3 over the SAS2 is that now if you do shoot a string of fire, you want to allow your can to cool, you can slide it back onto the barrel of the rifle to allow it to cool. And when you are ready to shoot again, simply slide it back up onto the can to again, shoot your next string. Again, it's made a little bit shorter than the length of the can. That's on purpose so it doesn't get tore up or beat up with muzzle blasts. So there's your SAS3. Our newest version is our Sas R. This does not have a ridge on either end of it. So you could leave your can on the rifle all the time if you want to. The way to install that, it doesn't matter, there's no ridge, so it doesn't really matter how it goes. I'll just simply put it in with the label to the back again. But you just simply slide it up over the can, slide it onto your can. I center it on there so there's a little bit of a gap on a little bit of overhang on both ends. The way you tighten this up is when you get it from our shop, I would recommend tightening it up, and we recommend tightening it up from the front all the way to the back, like your shoestrings, so that you have even tension all the way the length of the can. Simply tighten it up, like so. We recommend shoot 3 or 4 rounds while monitoring the effect of the cover. If recoil is making the cover slowly inch its way forward, then you need to tighten it up a little bit more from the front all the way to the back. On the initial, when it's brand new, if you tighten it up and it doesn't move at all, then I recommend loosening it up just a little bit so you can, as a shooter, can learn what works best for you and how much tension you need on the bungee cord to maintain the tension on the can. So after you tighten it up, you're happy with the way it works, you can simply thread the excess underneath the bungee at the bottom of it, and there you go. The bungee works as retention. It also, you're able to put vegetation underneath here if you need to camouflage the can in any manner. But again, this works very well with the bungee retention.
Peek around there.
Oh, sorry.
Nice.
That's kind of a wrap up our SAS 1, 2, 3 line of suppressor covers, our SAS4. Again, they're all made with exactly the same materials. It's just a user preference, or what your needs are is going to determine the model that works best for you. Thanks a lot. We try to use nothing but U.S. made materials when we can find them. Velcro, everything that we use, we try to find a U.S. manufacturer. Down to the thread, all of our Cordura is made in the U.S. Our thread is made in the U.S. Our plastic buckles are ITW Nexus made in the U.S.